It's time.
We are live.
Okay. Welcome to Friday. I am old new dude, and he is
Richard York, Asher's trueborn son.
uh, Davos. Davos. I love Davos. I don't know if any of y'all out there have watched the last voyage of the Demeter. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I know I've said this before on here before, but just to tell you, the vampire Dracula CGI sucks to high heaven. The design of Dracula sucks to high heaven, but you get to see Davos again, and that is exactly who he's playing in this movie. Is Davos, even though his name is something different, is Davos. So, if you haven't seen it and you can rent it for a couple bucks, it's worth the watch. I bought it not knowing that I would not like the Dracula CGI and all that stuff, but like I said, you still get to see Davos, so that's a win in my book.
All right.
What we got? Got Chris waving from the wall, and what was that?
Lizzie.
Is she is she drunk? Is that the is that the is that
I
the
don't know
drunk
what the emoji
face,
is. I don't know what the emoji is.
or did she make a trip somewhere and bring something back? It ain't 420 yet.
Anyway.
Okay, all right, that's enough little chit chat. Thanks again to Richard for joining us on Hump Day for
Yeah, it's fun.
the theory. Like I told Chris afterwards, we have different opinions of the purple wedding, and it would not be right if you weren't there for us to talk about the purple wedding. So I'm glad that things kind of worked out to where you could join us. Like I said, you're my encyclopedia. A lot more facts are able to pull up a lot more facts than my lazy ass will. So I definitely appreciate you being there. Appreciate Lady Thistle for joining us, even off camera. And I definitely enjoy having Lizzie there. She's always a trip. And everybody had some good opinions. I mean, whether you agree with them or not, there were good questions asked. There were good opinions. You're
Talk about some
pointing out the
interesting
different,
concepts.
yeah, you pointing out the different colors of the wine. I mean, it was pretty good. I liked it. Free Game of
Free Game
Thrones
of
Davos.
Thrones. Isn't a great werewolf movie called Dog Soldiers. Oh, interesting.
Yes, yes. What Chris might be able to answer this. It was either last Halloween or the Halloween before that I was able to buy the movie because I watched it when it originally came out. For Chris to watch it, and so now that's a Halloween tradition. Now we have to watch Dog Soldiers every Halloween. But I can't remember if it was this last one or the one before that. I think it was the one before that. But definitely a good movie. Definitely good. You'll see people in there that you see. The main good guy, I forget his name. He's a doctor on Grey's Anatomy. He was in the TV show Rome. He was Poseidon and Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. Really good actor. So I mean, there's some faces in there that you'll recognize for sure. But definitely awesome movie. But I know I've rambled here a little bit, so we will start with Davos.
Toby Stevens, apparently.
Kevin McKidd. One before Chris says.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Oh,
Wow, everybody does more than I do. All right, I've rambled.
All right.
I'm sorry. Let's start with
I don't
Davos.
know. I did. You said Poseidon and Percy Jackson, and I googled that, and it said Toby Stevens. So I don't know. Whatever. Oh wait, that's Bing. Oh, maybe it's wrong.
Well, are you looking at the TV show?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway,
All right.
I don't know where I got that.
Take it away.
Storm 36, Davos 4, 3 leeches. Lord Alistair looked up sharply. Voices, he said. Do you hear, Davos? Someone's coming for us. Lamprey, said Davos. It's time for our supper, or near enough. Last night, Lamprey had brought them half a beef and bacon pie, and a flagon of meat as well. Just the thought of it made his belly start to rumble. No, there's more than one. He's right. Davos heard 2 voices at least, and footsteps, growing louder. He got to his feet and moved to the bars. Lord Alistair brushed the straw from his clothes. The king has sent for me. Or the queen, yes. Solis would never let me rot here. Her own blood. Well, that's what you think. Outside the cell, he appeared with a ring of keys in hand. Sir Axel Florent and 4 guardsmen followed close behind him. They waited beneath the torch while Lamprey searched for the correct key. Axel, Lord Alistair said, gods be good. Is it the king who sends for me, or the queen? No one has sent for you, traitor, Sir Axel said. Lord Alistair recoiled as if he'd been slapped. No, I swear to you, I committed no treason. Why won't you listen? If his grace would only let me explain. Lamprey thrust a great iron key into the lock, turned it, and pulled open the cell. The rusted hinges screamed in protest. You, he said to Davos, come. Where? Davos looked to Sir Axel. Tell me true, sir. Do you mean to burn me? You are sent for. Can you walk? I can walk. Davos stepped from the cell. Lord Alistair gave a cry of dismay as Lamprey slammed the door shut once more. Take the torch, Sir Axel commanded the jailer. Leave the traitor to the darkness. No, his brother said. Axel, please, don't take the light. Gods have mercy. Gods? There was only R'hllor and the other. Sir Axel gestured sharply, and one of his guardsmen pulled the torch from its sconce and led the way to the stair. Are you taking me to Melisandre? Davos asked. She will be there, Sir Axel said. She's never far from the king, but it is his grace himself who asked for you. Davos lifted his hand to his chest, where once his luck had hung in a leather bag on a thong. Gone now, he remembered, and the ends of 4 fingers as well. But his hands are still long enough to wrap around a woman's throat. Wrap about a woman's throat, he thought, especially a slender throat like hers.
Hey, quick question.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You go first.
Davos is channeling his inner Loras. See, Trip the Targaryens, episode 6.
I know the theory is that Melisandre has his finger bones.
Right.
When would she have got them? Did he not have them when he was on the Blackwater? She got them before.
She could have replaced them. She could have replaced them with, things.
Yeah, I'm thinking it was
close enough, sticks that felt close enough, and anyway, it's just a possibility.
I mean, she didn't scoop them out of the water at the Blackwater, so I'm assuming that she had them before that.
Well, she certainly has foresight. We know that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she was at what? Storm's End, or did they send her on to Dragonstone?
I don't know. I think they were still here, right? Oh no, at that point they're at Storm's End. That's probably true. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think we got them before.
Where did they launch the actual fleet from? Or that's a good question.
Yeah, that would be Storm's End, wouldn't it?
Probably. I mean, that's certainly where we saw them.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think she got him before the Battle of Blackwater. So he lost Wood or somebody else's finger bones.
Right.
Okay.
Up they went, climbing the turnpike stair in single file. The walls were rough, dark stone, cool to the touch. The light of the torches went before them, and their shadows marched beside them on the walls. At the 3rd turn, they passed an iron gate that opened on blackness, and another at the 5th turn. Davos guessed that they were near the surface by then, perhaps even above it. The next door they came to was made of wood, but still they climbed. Now the walls were broken by arrow slits, but no shafts of sunlight pried their way through the thickness of the stone. It was night outside. His legs were aching by the time Sir Axel thrust open a heavy door and gestured him through. Beyond, a high stone bridge arched over emptiness to the massive central tower called the Stone Drum. A sea wind blew restlessly through the arches that supported the roof, and Davos could smell the salt water as they crossed. He took a deep breath, filling his lungs with the clean, cold air. Wind and water, give me strength, he prayed. That almost sounds like something that Arya would say. I don't know why, maybe just the rhythm of it.
Yeah.
A huge night fire burned in the yard below to keep the terrors of the dark at bay, and the queen's men were gathered around it, singing praises to their new red god.
Hey, when do they sleep?
Good question. Maybe it's still early evening. I mean, if it's autumn, there's probably more than 12 hours of darkness. Hey, Jeff, better late than never, as they always say.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're up all night with the fires, so, I mean...
Well, are they, though, is my question, right? Or are they just,
rotating,
staying up late for a while? I mean, there's probably more than 12 hours of darkness if it's autumn, right?
Well, I mean, probably they could rotate just like they would a watch schedule. So
yeah. They were in the center of the bridge when Sir Axel stopped suddenly. He made a brusque gesture with his hand, and his men moved out of earshot. Were it my choice, I would burn you with my brother Alistair, he told Davos. You're both traitors. Say what you will, I would never betray King Stannis. You would. You will. I see it in your face. I've seen it in the flames as well. He's kind of sort of right, so it's kind of interesting. Anyway, R'hllor has blessed me with that gift. Like Lady Melisandre, he shows me the future in the fire. Stannis Baratheon will sit the Iron Throne. Well, no, definitely he doesn't see the future
No,
then.
no.
I have seen it, and I know what must be done. His grace must make me his hand in place of my traitor brother, and you will tell him so. Will I? Davos said nothing. The Queen has urged my appointment, Sir Axel went on. Even your old friend from Lys, the pirate Son, he says the same. We've made a plan together, him and me, yet his grace does not act. The defeat gnaws inside him, a black worm in his soul. It's up to us who love him to show him what to do. If you're as devoted to his cause as you claim, smuggler, you will join your voice to ours. Tell him that I'm the only hand he needs. Tell him that when we sail, I shall see that you have a new ship. A ship? Davos studied the other man's face. Sir Axel had big florid ears, much like the Queen's. Coarse hair grew from them, as from his nostrils. More sprouted in tufts and patches beneath his double chin. His nose was broad, his brow beetled, his eyes close set and hostile. He would sooner give me a pirate than a ship, he said as much. But if I do him this favor... If you think to betray me, Sir Axel said, pray remember that I've been castellan of Dragonstone a good long time. The garrison is mine. Perhaps I cannot burn you without the king's consent, but who is to say you might not suffer a fall? He laid a meaty hand on the back of Davos's neck and shoved him bodily against the waist-high side of the bridge, then shoved a little harder to force his face out over the yard. Do you hear me? Kind of reminds me of Lysa with Sansa.
Yeah.
It's interesting that the hand of the king lacks the authority to burn people, and yet many in the fandom, including the wiki mods, believe that Stannis, I burned his brother Baratheon, did not give the order to burn Sunglass. Do not blame the female advisors for the sins of the patriarch, especially the foreign witch woman. How can people read this history and not get this? He had his fire sorcerer advisor kill the honorable man expecting to face his champion. He arrested and burns his own hand, and you think he didn't order the politically questionable executions? Really? Anyway.
Yeah, I agree with you on this.
I'm just gonna keep harping on it, just because it's just bizarre to me that this is so accepted, that's so clearly not allowed. Anyway, no. I hear, said Davos, and you dare name me traitor? Sir Axel released him. Good, he smiled. His grace awaits. Best we do not keep him. At the very top of Stone Drum, within the great round room called the Chamber of the Painted Table, they found Stannis Baratheon standing behind the artifact that gave the hall its name, a massive slab of wood carved and painted in the shape of Westeros, as it had been in the time of Aegon the Conqueror. An iron brazier stood beside the king, its coals glowing a ruddy orange. 4 tall, pointed windows looked out to north, south, east, and west. Beyond was the night and the starry sky. Davos could hear the wind moving, and fainter, the sounds of the sea.
Hey,
Your Grace.
Is it called brazier or brazier?
Brazier, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, I just wanted.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Your Grace, Sir Axel said, as it please you, I brought the Onion Knight. So I see. Stannis wore a gray wool tunic, a dark red mantle, and a plain black leather belt from which his sword and dagger hung. A red gold crown with flame-shaped points encircled his brows. The look of him was a shock. He seemed 10 years older than the man Davos had left at Storm's End, so there you go, when he set sail for the Blackwater and the battle that would be their undoing. The king's close-cropped beard was spiderweb with gray hairs, and he had dropped 2 stone or more of weight. He'd never been a fleshy man, but now the bones moved beneath his skin like spears, fighting to cut free. Even his crown seemed too large for his head. His eyes were blue pits lost in deep hollows. The shape of a skull could be seen beneath his face.
Hey, I just want to point out that Benjen dresses nicer than Stannis does.
No, true. Davos saw him before the Blackwater. So I always thought this was the Shadow Babies, but that makes it somewhat questionable. It could just take some time for the impact to like manifest physically that you've lost your force of your soul, and it takes a while before the flesh starts to get thinner from that and so forth. But it's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah, that is
you
weird.
think a magical effect like that would have been that you would have seen it then. Like as far as we know,
not only that, you would think that Stannis would see him before he sends him to battle on his ship.
Well, he did. Stannis goes with the host, and he goes with the ships.
Right. So after the Shadow Baby,
right,
he should
exactly.
still
That's my point.
see Stannis.
That's my point.
Yeah, exactly. That's weird. I don't know if that's an oversight in George's
the Great Bard.
Hey.
Hi guys.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
that's what I'm
hey,
saying. It's
Goose.
really strange to me because I mean, the only thing I can say is that the implication is that if you lose your soul, that it takes a while before you start to look like you lost your soul. But that
Yeah,
seems really weird for magic, right? It seems like
yeah.
it
You
should have
would
been
think there would be an instant price to it,
exactly. And this is really kind of strange.
especially the way that George likes to portray magic, that it has a cost. I don't think he
Right.
would. I don't think he would delay the cost
Yeah,
for the magic.
it's just
Yeah, I agree with you.
it really stuck out at me on this read is like, wow, that's just bizarre
Well,
that he
that's
was
like the night after Renly died. Um, he should have looked. Actually, before that, when he gave that seed and that part of his soul to
well. If it took
Melisandre,
the second one is done
exactly,
by the
to be
time.
even more.
Yeah, he should have. That's why it's really strange that that anyway.
The only, if there is a small period of time, then the only thing that would make sense is Davos never saw Stannis again until now, or yeah, till now. He never saw him after
Yeah,
the
it
Shadow
might
Baby.
be
But
possible that he didn't actually see him after that
he
while they were
might
there.
not want to see him for.
Maybe.
He might have been ashamed
Yeah, maybe.
for what he asked Davos to do. So yeah,
Yeah,
that could
but
be plausible that he did not look Davos in the eyes again.
yeah, I don't know. It's pretty strange either way.
Yeah. Well, that would indicate that he gave seed that day.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, 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 because he doesn't take her right away. After they meet
No,
with Courtney, is Courtney Penrose right at
you would think. You would
but they
think. Yeah.
leave, and
Yeah.
he
But you
asks
would think.
Davos, "I need you to do what you used to do."
Right.
But he doesn't take Melisandre right then and there. Davos leaves. Then the seed can be given to Melisandre for her to have the
Yeah.
shadow baby. And
The only way
then,
for it to be for
yeah,
it to
that's the
actually
only way it
drain
works
them
out
is
for
yeah.
Davos
I know
not
it's
to have
really
seen
weird.
the. Yeah.
It's pretty bizarre. Anyway.
What's
Yeah.
Key say?
I wondered about this too. Does she pull part of his essence from the underworld? I really don't know. This isn't really in accordance with the other evidence we have about his magic. Yeah, that's the thing. It's pretty strange. Anyway.
Yeah. But like I said, the only way is seeds given after Stannis asks Davos. Davos doesn't see Stannis when he meets with Melisandre because it have to be nightfall. He takes her to the castle, sees the shadow baby, and in and basically uh, uh, not wanting to see the look that Davos would give him from what he just asked him to do.
Yeah,
He
maybe.
never brought Davos before him
Yeah.
again.
They're probably both sort of
Yeah,
ashamed of what they're doing, so yeah, maybe.
that's the only way that it works out in my mind for him not to have seen him until now.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yet when he saw Davos, a faint smile brushed his lips. So the sea has turned me my night of the fish and onions. It did, your grace. Does he know that he had me in his dungeons? Davos went to one knee. Just in from the doctor. Hi, family. Hey, Mother Roy.
Hey, mother.
Rise, Sir Davos, Stannis commanded. I've missed you, sir. I've need of good counsel, and you never gave me less. So tell me true. What is this penalty for treason? The word hung in the air. A frightful word, thought Davos. Was he being asked to condemn his cellmate? Or himself, perchance? Kings know the penalty for treason better than any man. Treason? He finally managed weakly. What else would you call it to deny your king and seek to steal his rightful throne? Ask you again. What is the penalty for treason under the law? Davos had no choice but to answer, death, he said. The penalty is death, your grace. It has always been so. I'm not a cruel man, Sir Davos. You know me, have known me long. This is not my decree. It has always been so, since Aegon's day and before. Daemon Blackfire, the brothers Toyne, the Vulture King, Grand Maester Hareth. I don't know who's Grand Maester Hareth, but anyway, traitors have always paid with their lives. Even Rhaenyra Targaryen. She was daughter to one king and mother to two more, yet she died a traitor's death for trying to usurp her brother's crown. It is law. Law, Davos, not cruelty.
Hey,
The
this
Maesters.
reminds me of the scene in season 8 with Sansa, Arya, and Littlefinger, um, where Littlefinger thinks they're talking about Arya, but it's actually Littlefinger,
Mm,
and the treason that they're talking about is not
okay,
Davos.
right. The Maesters rewrote the history. The widow's law makes it clear you cannot name the eldest son your second wife ahead of the youngest daughter of your first wife, thus disinheriting your first wife's family. George loves irony, and our characters are often wrong, right? And Stannis is filled with this kind of irony, I think. In fact, we'll see that here in a minute. Yes, your grace, he does not speak of me. Davos felt a moment's pity for his cellmate down in the dark. He knew he should keep silent, but he was tired and sick of heart, and he heard himself say, Sire, Lord Florent meant no treason. Do smugglers have another name for it? I made him hand, and he would have sold my rights for a bowl of pease porridge. He would even have given them Shireen. Mine own child he would have wed to a bastard born of incest. The king's voice was thick with anger. My brother had a gift for inspiring loyalty, even in his foes. At Summerhall, he won 3 battles in a single day and brought Lords Grandison and Catherine back to Storm's End as prisoners.
3 battles in a single day. Sorry.
No,
that was related Thistle.
He hung their banners in the hall as trophies. Catherine's white fawns were spotted with blood, and Grandison's sleeping lion was torn near in two. Yet they would sit beneath those banners of the night, drinking and feasting with Robert. He even took them hunting. These men meant to deliver you to Ares to be burned, I told him after I saw them throwing axes
Hey, are
in the
these
yard.
the tapestries that Littlefinger wants?
No.
Okay.
No, these are their banners. Those are hunting tapestries.
Okay.
You should not be putting axes in their hands. Robert only laughed. I would have thrown Grandison and Catherine into a dungeon, but he turned them into friends. Lord Catherine died at Ashford Castle, cut down by Randall Tarley whilst fighting for Robert. Lord Grandison was wounded on the Trident and died of it a year after. My brother made them love him, but it would seem that I inspire only betrayal, even in mine own blood and kin. Brother, grandfather, cousins, good uncle. Your Grace, said Sir Axel, I beg you, give me the chance to prove to you that not all Florents are so feeble. Sir Axel would have me resume the war, King Stannis told Davos. The Lannisters think I am done and beaten, and my sworn lords have forsaken me, near every one. Even Lord Estermont, my own mother's father, has bent his knee to Joffrey. The few loyal men who remain to me are losing heart. They waste their days drinking and gambling and lick their wounds like beaten curs. Battle will set their hearts ablaze once more, your grace, Sir Axel said. Defeat is the disease, and victory is the cure. Victory, the king's mouth twisted. There are victories and victories, sir. But tell your plan to Sir Davos. I would hear his views on what you propose. Sir Axel turned to Davos with a look on his face much like the look that proud Lord Belgrave must have worn the day King Baelor the Blessed had commanded him to wash the beggar's ulcerous feet. Nonetheless, he obeyed. The plan Sir Axel had devised with Salladhor Saan was simple. A few hours' sail from Dragonstone lay Claw Isle, ancient seat of House Celtigar. Lord Adrian Celtigar had fought beneath the fiery heart in the Blackwater. But once taken, he had wasted no time in going over to Joffrey. He remained in King's Landing even now. Too frightened of his grace's wrath to come near Dragonstone, no doubt, Sir Axel declared, and wisely so. The man has betrayed his rightful king. Sir Axel proposed to use Salladhor Saan's fleet and the men who had escaped the Blackwater. Stannis still had some 1,500 on Dragonstone, more than half of them Florents, to exact retribution for Lord Celtigar's defection. Claw Isle was but lightly garrisoned, its castle reputedly stuffed with Moorish carpets, Vulcanese glass, gold and silver plate, jeweled cups, magnificent hawks, an axe of Valyrian steel, a horn that could summon monsters from the deep. You gotta love the magic horn summoning giants from below.
Oh, yeah.
Chests of rubies and more wines than a man could drink in 100 years. Though Celtigar had shown the world a miserly face, he had never stinted on his own comforts. Put his castle to the torch and his people to the sword, I say, Sir Axel concluded. Leave Claw Isle a desolation of ash and bone, fit only for carrion crows, so the realm might see the fate of those who bed with Lannisters. Stannis listened to Sir Axel's recitation in silence, grinding his jaw slowly from side to side. When it was done, he said, It could be done, I believe. The risk is small. Joffrey has no strength at sea until Lord Redwyne sets sail from the Arbor. The plunder might serve to keep that Lycene pirate Salladhor Saan loyal for a time. By itself, Claw Isle is worthless, but its fall would serve notice to Lord Tywin that my cause is not yet done. The king turned back to Davos. Speak truly, sir. What do you make of Sir Axel's proposal? Speak truly, sir. Davos remembered the dark cell he'd shared with Lord Alliser, remembered lamprey and porridge. He thought of the promises that Sir Axel had made on the bridge above the yard. A ship or a shove, what shall it be? But this was Stannis asking. Your Grace, he said slowly, I make it folly. Aye, and cowardice. Cowardice? Sir Axel all but shouted. No man calls me craven before my king. Silence, Stannis commanded. Sir Davos, speak on. I would hear your reasons. Davos turned to face Sir Axel. You say we ought to show the realm we are not done. Strike a blow. Make war, aye. But on what enemy? You will find no Lannisters on Claw Isle. We will find traitors, said Sir Axel, though it may be I could find some closer to home, even in this very room. Davos ignored the jibe. I don't doubt Lord Celtigar bent the knee to the boy Joffrey. He's an old done man who wants no more than to end his days in his castle, drinking his fine wine out of his jeweled cups. He turned back to Stannis. Yet he came when you called, sire, came with his ships and swords. He stood by you at Storm's End when Lord Renly came down on us, and his ship sailed up the Blackwater. His men fought for you, killed for you, burned for you. Claw Isle is weakly held, yes, held by women and children and old men. And why is that? Because their husbands and sons and fathers died in the Blackwater, that's why. Died at their oars, or with swords in their hands, fighting beneath our banners. Yet Sir Axel proposes we swoop down on the homes they left behind, to rape their widows and put their children to the sword. These small folk are no traitors. They are, insisted Sir Axel. Not all of Celtigar's men were slain in the Blackwater. Hundreds were taken with their lord and bent the knee when he did. When he did, Davos repeated. They were his men, his sworn men. What choice were they given? Every man has choices. They might have refused to kneel. Some did and died for it. If they died true men and loyal. Some men are stronger than others. It was a feeble answer, and Davos knew it. Stannis Baratheon was a man of iron will who neither understood nor forgave weakness in others. I am losing, he thought, despairing. It is every man's duty to remain loyal to his rightful king, even if the lord he serves proves false, Stannis declared in a tone that brooked no argument. A desperate folly took hold of Davos, a recklessness akin to madness. What madness is this? Phantom leaping? Phantom leaping, mayhaps?
There you go.
As you remain loyal to King Aerys when your brother raised his banners, he blurted. Shocked silence followed until Sir Axel cried, Treason! And snatched his dagger from his sheath. Your Grace, he speaks his infamy to your face. Davos could hear Stannis grind in his teeth. A vein bulged, blue and swollen, in the king's brow. Their eyes met. Put up your knife, Sir Axel, and leave us. As it please, your Grace. It would please me for you to leave, said Stannis. Take yourself from my presence and send me Melisandre. As you command. Sir Axel slid the knife away, bowed, and hurried toward the door. His boots rang against the floor, angry. You have always presumed on my forbearance, Stannis warned Davos when they were alone. I can shorten your tongue as easy as I did your fingers, smuggler. I'm your man, your Grace, so it's your tongue to do with as you please. It is, he said, calmer, and I would have it speak the truth, though the truth is a bitter draught at times. Aerys, if you only knew, that was a hard choosing. My blood or my liege, my brother or my king, he grimaced. Have you ever seen the Iron Throne, the barbs along the back, the ribbons of twisted steel, the jagged ends of swords and knives all tangled up and melted? It is not a comfortable seat, sir. Aerys cut himself so often men took to calling him King Scab, and Maegor the Cruel was murdered in that chair. By that chair, to hear some tell it. It is not a seat where a man can rest at ease. Oftentimes wonder why my brothers wanted it so desperately. Why would you want it then? Davos asked him. It's not a question of wanting. The throne is mine as Robert's heir. That is law. After me, it must pass to my daughter, unless Selyse should finally give me a son. You just endorsed a legal theory that relies on the throne not being allowed to go to females. You're both the Mad King and Viserys the First. He ran three, because what I mean by that is Viserys the First is only king because the throne doesn't go to females, and then he names a female heir. So he's kind of similarly hypocritical in the opposite direction.
A little bit.
He ran 3 fingers lightly down the table over the layers of smooth, hard varnish, dark with age. I am king. Wants not enter into it. I have a duty to my daughter, to the realm, even to Robert. He loved me but little, I know, yet he was my brother. The Lannister woman gave him horns and made a motley fool of him. She may have murdered him as well. She murdered Jon Arryn and Ned Stark. Well, 2 out of 3. Our characters are often wrong. Actually, no. She didn't actually murder Ned Stark or Jon Arryn, now I think about it. It's one. Is it 1 out of 3? Yeah, she may have murdered him. Well, that part's right. So it's only 1 out of 3. Shortening the tongue, maybe what happens to Tyrion. Yeah, we definitely see lots of foreshadowing of that.
Yeah, which would be odd for his chapters. It'll be all interior monologue, and
that would be weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
For such crimes, there must be justice, starting with Cersei and her abominations, but only starting. I mean to scour that court clean. As Robert should have done after the Trident. Sir Barristan once told me that the rot in King Aerys' reign began with Varys. The eunuch should never have been pardoned. So I find that interesting. I mean, we know Stannis would be unacceptable to the council, and I always thought, Littlefinger would be Stannis' priority. I did not remember this line. It does make sense if you're a spy that you want to make your king paranoid to increase your own value.
Yeah.
So it's possible that he really did. It's possible that he really did work to make Ares paranoid, and that really was,
Well,
Harrison might
stop
be
and
right
think
here.
about this. If the Blackfire theory is correct, and I'm thinking that it probably is, as far as Varys
I
is
don't.
concerned. Well, I think
I
Varys
don't.
is a
I don't think
Blackfire.
he's. I think he's Sarah's. I think he's Sarah's. I don't think he's Blackfire.
Oh, you hush. But
He's a son of Sarah.
hush,
So
hush,
his sister's name is Sarah. He's a son of Sarah. They're passing the name down. So
get out.
you, 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 you,
Regardless,
uh,
okay. Regardless of who Varys is, he has actively tried to undermine whoever is in charge, starting with Eris all the way till now, in whatever ways he can, because the right person is in his mind is not on the throne.
of course, I also believe that I also like the Order of the Green Hands theory that that Alicent is actually Sarah's daughter.
Hmm.
So the logic here is that we're specifically told that the real event that started the Dance with the Dragons was 50 years beforehand, and they
Mhm.
were like, if that's literal, the only thing that happens that year that's of any interest to us is that Sarah goes to Old Town,
Mhm.
and then Alicent shows up, and she looks exactly like Sarah, so much so that people can't convince the old king that she isn't Sarah,
Uh-huh.
right? And then all of her kids seem to have the genes for dragon hatching and dragon riding,
Uh-huh.
right? And when Preston had traced the dragon stuff, it mostly seemed like it came from the mother's side, right? It seemed like it was maybe an X trait.
Yeah.
Um, so the implication is that somehow Alicent has to be a Targaryen, and the events of the Dance of the Dragons, the key event was the year that Sarah went to Old Town, and nothing else happened. Basically, is relevant.
Okay.
So, and then Sarah specifically. Well, first off, they're both named Sarah, but they're also both associated with the Pillow House in lists, and uses the same words, and so it seems to be associating. Yes, this House Hightower stole some dragon genes and wanted to usurp the throne. Exactly. Pycelle is the one who counseled opening gates to the Lannisters. Yeah, that's true.
Exactly. Oh yeah,
Anyway,
that's true. That kind of goes against my Varys
so anyway, that's why
undermining.
I like the Sarah. I mean, it's still the same kind of concept, right? Whether he's
Right.
working for the Blackfires, working
For his line
for
of the
Sarah,
Targaryen blood.
or he may just be loyal to Ares, trying to make Ares paranoid to make himself more valuable, appreciating Ares raised him up, and be a loyalist to the Targaryens because Ares raised him up, and he
Right.
preferred Ares over Rhaegar. He didn't want to allow a coup because A, he was in good with Ares, right,
Right.
and B, he was loyal to Ares, and so he prevented Rhaegar from overthrowing Ares, basically, right, by having
Right.
him go
Right.
to the tourney. But so maybe he's just an Ares loyalist, basically a Targaryen loyalist. Who, anyway,
Okay. Okay. I
yeah.
buy that.
How about just some ideas?
Okay. You don't have to get out now.
All right, I'm glad you appreciated that.
Now, does that put Fagon as her son?
No, of
Possibly.
course not. He's a triplet Targaryen. Come on.
Okay. Well, no, no, no. We got the girl in the front, Val, and the girl in the back, born last,
Danny.
Danny. The
Right.
question mark that is going to be the
No,
hardest.
no, no. Aegon and his sisters. The whole
All
term, Aegon and his
right,
sisters.
get back out. Um,
Go ahead.
it is going to be harder for us to prove until George tells us who exactly. Now, I agree. I think Fagon is the one in the middle, but an argument can be made that John is the one that's in the middle. I mean, it's not
Sure.
set in stone in my mind. I'm like 80
Right. Right.
percent
And you
on
could
the
still
Fagon.
do the marriage without him actually being the one that came from the whether or not he's the baby from the marriage, right?
Right.
You could. I personally, I want him to be Trueborn son. It's
Yeah, I
Asher's
know, I
trueborn
know, I
son,
know.
right?
I do too. I do too.
It's
Well, like I said, I don't knock other theories that much, but
yeah.
that is something that popped in my
No,
mind,
it's
so that's
always
why I
something
went
to keep in
ahead.
your back. I agree. I mean, it's always nice to like like I always say that I think George plants seeds in multiple directions, and that he likes ambiguity,
Yeah.
and so the idea that he might have thought of this other option as well is certainly worth exploring.
Look, I've made this comparison over and over and over again. It's like the choose your own
I just think there's too many
story.
words, and the symbolism really does point at him at being a true Targaryen,
Okay,
right? Go back and
yeah.
watch my third video. Scenes
Third
from the Targaryens
video,
episode
what?
three.
There you go.
Scenes
Yeah,
from
I
the
was
Targaryens
waiting for that.
episode three.
There you go. Okay, sorry.
All right. Uh, no more than the Kingslayer. At the least, Robert should have stripped the white cloak from Jaime and sent him to the wall, as Lord Stark urged. He listened to Jon Arryn instead. I was still at Storm's End under siege and unconsulted. He's still bothered by this, of course. He turned abruptly to give Davos a hard, shrewd look. The truth now. Why did you wish to murder Lady Melisandre? So he does know. Davos could not lie to him. 4 of my sons burned in the Blackwater. She gave them to the flames. You wrong her. Those fires were no work of hers. Curse the imp. Curse the pyromancers. Curse that fool of Florent who sailed my fleet in the jaws of a trap. Or curse me for my stubborn pride, for sending her away when I needed her most. But not Melisandre. She remains my faithful servant. Maester Cresson was your faithful servant. She slew him as she killed Sir Courtney Penrose and your brother Renly. Now you sound a fool, the king complained. She saw Renly's end in the flames, yes, but she had no more part in it than I did. I guess
No.
that's arguably a true statement.
Mm-hmm.
The priestess was with me. Your Devon would tell you so. Ask him if you doubt me. She would have spared Renly if she could. It was Melisandre who urged me to meet with him and give him one last chance to amend his treason. She does seem to need to see the victim.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Yep. And it was Melisandre who told me to send for you when Sir Axel wished to give you to R'hllor. He smiled thinly. Does that surprise you? Yes. She knows I'm no friend to her or her red god. But you are a friend to me. She knows that as well. He beckoned Davos closer. The boy is sick. Maester Pylos has been leeching him. The boy? His thoughts went to Devon, the king's squire. My son, sire? Devon? A good boy. He has much of you in him. It's Robert's bastard who is sick, the boy we took at Storm's End. Edric Storm. I spoke with him in Aegon's garden. As she wished, as she saw, Stannis sighed. Did the boy charm you? He has that gift. He got it from his father with the blood. He knows he is a king's son, but chooses to forget that he is bastard born. And he worships Robert, as Renly did when he was young. My royal brother played the fond father on his visits to Storm's End, and there were gifts, swords and ponies and fur-trimmed cloaks. The eunuch's work, every one. The boy would write the red keep full of thanks, and Robert would laugh and ask Varys what he'd seen this year. Oh, I wonder if that's actually wrong. I mean, not only just because our characters are often wrong, but the eunuch's work, every one, dead men, every one, and the dead men, every one is clearly wrong. So
Right.
maybe it's not the eunuch's work. Maybe Robert was more involved than we know. I don't know. It's just that just popped into my head.
Well,
Anyway,
stop and think about it. This is a son that looks like him.
no, it's pretty
And
clear here. It goes, the boy would write the red keep full of thanks, and Robert would laugh and ask Varys what he'd sent this year. So that does, yeah, he's telling the truth then. If
okay,
he's
yeah,
witnessed that, then he's definitely right.
yeah. There's, I
Anyway,
mean, a lot of things I think about Stannis. He doesn't lie.
yeah,
Or
so that must
yeah,
be true. Yeah, that must be
yeah,
it. Actually, how it went down.
yeah.
Renly was no better. He left the boy's upbringing to castellans and maesters, and everyone fell victim to his charm. Penrose chose to die rather than give him up. King ground his teeth together. It still angers me. How could he think I would hurt the boy? Gee, I wonder. Anyway,
Yeah.
I chose Robert, did I not? When that hard day came, I chose blood over honor. He does not use the boy's name. That made Davos very uneasy. I hope young Edric will recover soon. Stannis waved a hand, dismissing his concerns. It's a chill, no more. He coughs, he shivers, he has a fever. Maester Pylos will soon set him right. By himself the boy is not, you understand, but in his veins flows my brother's blood. There is power in a king's blood, she says. Davos did not have to ask who she was. Stannis touched the painted table. Look at it, Onion Knight. My realm, by rights, my Westeros. He swept a hand across it. This talk of 7 kingdoms is a folly. Aegon saw that 300 years ago when he stood where we are standing. They painted the table at his command. Rivers and bays they painted, hills and mountains, castles and cities and market towns, lakes and swamps and forests, but no borders. It's all one realm, one king to rule alone. One king, agreed Davos. One king means peace. Greenbard says choosing blood over honor has a completely opposite connotation in this case. The honorable thing is to spare the boy.
It's true.
One king, agreed Davos. One king means peace. I noticed who unites the realm here is unspecified. It just says one king means peace. It doesn't say that it has to be Stannis. Anyway.
Yeah.
Right, and they're choosing war basically. So, and we've talked about how choosing war is usually a mistake.
Yeah.
I shall bring justice to Westeros, a thing Sir Axel understands as little as he does war. Claw Isle would gain me naught, and it was evil, just as you said. Celtigar must pay the traitor's price himself in his own person, and when I come into my kingdom he shall. Every man shall reap what he has sown, from the highest lord to the lowest gutter rat. And some will lose more than the tips of their fingers, I promise you. They have made my kingdom bleed, and I do not forget that. King Stannis turned from the table. On your knees, Onion Knight. Your grace? For your onions and fish, I made you a knight once. For this, I'm of a mind to raise you to lord. This? Davos was lost. I'm content to be your knight, your grace. I would not know how to begin being lordly. Good, to be lordly is to be false. I've learned that lesson hard. Now kneel, your king commands. Kind of reminds me of our previous discussion of all the times the king commands drink. The king commands it.
Yeah.
We've talked about that. It's Robert talking to Ned, and it's Euron talking to Victarion, and I think there may have been some others that we found, but anyway.
Yeah.
Davos knelt, and Stannis drew his longsword. Lightbringer, Melisandre had named it. The red sword of heroes, drawn from the fires where the seven gods were consumed. The rim seemed to grow brighter as the blade slid from its scabbard. The steel had a glow to it, now orange, now yellow, now red. The air shimmered around it, and no jewel had ever sparkled so brilliantly. When Stannis touched it to Davos' shoulder, it felt no different than any other longsword. Sir Davos of House Seaworth, the king said, are you my true and honest liege man now and forever? I am, your grace. And do you swear to serve me loyally all your days, to give me honest counsel and swift obedience, to defend my rights and my realm against all foes in battles great and small, to protect my people and punish my enemies? For some reason, I emphasized that, to protect my people. I wonder why I did that.
I was anyway. Like,
what? He specifically will say that you commanded me to save Edric.
Right.
He'll cite that line right there, to protect my people, and say, that's my order. I was obeying you. How can that be treason?
Exactly.
Right? I do, your grace. Especially that protect my people part. Then rise again, Davos Seaworth, and rise as Lord of the Rainwood, Admiral of the Narrow Sea, and Hand of the King. For a moment, Davos was too stunned to move. I woke this morning in this dungeon. Your grace, you cannot. I'm no fit man to be a king's hand. There is no man fitter. Stannis sheathed Lightbringer, gave Davos his hand, and pulled him to his feet. I am lowborn, Davos reminded him, an up-jumped smuggler. The lords will never obey me. Then we will make new lords. But I cannot read, nor write. Maester Pylos can read for you. As to writing, my last hand wrote the head off his shoulders. All I ask of you are the things you've always given me. Honesty, loyalty, service. Of course, he's actually going to burn him. He's not going to cut his head off, but anyway.
Yeah.
Surely there is someone better, some great lord, Stannis snorted. Bar Emmon, that boy, my faithless godfather? Celtigar has abandoned me. The new Valerian is 6 years old. And the new Sunglass sailed for Volantis after I burned his brother. I burned his brother. How is this hard to see?
Yeah.
He made an angry gesture. A few good men remain, it's true. Sir Gilbert Faring holds Storm's End for me still, with 200 loyal men. Lord Morrigan, the bastard of Nightsong, young Chittering, my cousin Andrew, but I trust none of them as I trust you, my Lord of Rainwood. You will be my hand. It is you I want beside me for the battle. Another battle will be the end for all of us. End of all of us, thought Davos. Lord Alistair saw that much true enough. Your grace asked for honest counsel. In honesty, then, we lack the strength for another battle against the Lannisters. It is the great battle his grace is speaking of, said a woman's voice, rich with the accents of the East. Melisandre stood at the door in her red silks and shimmering satins, holding a covered silver dish in her hands. These little wars are no more than a scuffle of children before what is to come. The one whose name may not be spoken is marshalling his power, Davos Seaworth, a power felon, evil, and strong beyond measure. Soon comes the cold, and the night that never ends. She placed a silver dish on the painted table. Unless true men find the courage to fight it, men whose hearts are fire. Stannis stared at the silver dish. She's shown it to me, Lord Davos, in the flames. Have you seen The Lion in Winter? The king plans to behead his son, and the sword falls on his shoulder instead. Huh. I don't know if I've seen that.
I haven't seen that. What is it in? Have you seen The Lion in Winter?
The Lion in Winter.
Hold on, I
Sounds
gotta write it.
familiar.
Yeah, let
Sounds
me write
familiar.
that down. Give me a second. I gotta get a pencil. Here it is.
You saw it, sire? It was not like Stannis Baratheon to lie about such a thing. With mine own eyes. After the battle, when I was lost to despair, the Lady Melisandre bid me gaze into the hearth fire. The chimney was drawing strongly, and bits of ash were rising from the fire. I stared at them, feeling half a fool, but she bid me look deeper, and the ashes were white, rising in the updraft, yet all at once it seemed as if they were falling. Snow, I thought. Then the sparks in the air seemed to circle, to become a ring of torches, and I was looking through the fire down on some high hill in a forest.
Hey, before you go any further,
I know.
what, the snow?
Ashes turning into snow. Yeah.
Well, a castle built of snow or by snow, of snow, I think it is.
Okay.
The second prophecy
Okay.
from the Ghost of High Heart.
Okay. Interesting.
So,
There's
that
supposed
would
to be a
be,
giant or something, right?
yeah,
The
destroy the
same
giant.
maiden.
What's
The
that?
same maiden. Isn't it supposed to be the same maiden with the
Yeah,
purple
later I
with the purple
dreamt of the
poison?
same maiden slaying a giant
Right.
in a castle made of snow.
Right.
So now that'd be a castle made of ash or flame.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, you know how George likes to hide things with the words.
Yeah. Interesting thought. Sure.
Okay. Yep. Sorry, I stopped you.
No, it's interesting. The sinners had become men in black behind the torches, and there were shapes moving through the snow. For all the heat of the fire, I felt a cold so terrible I shivered. And when I did, the sight was gone, the fire but a fire once again. What I saw was real. I'd stake my kingdom on it. And have, said Melisandre. Conviction of the king's voice frightened Davos to the core. A hill and a forest, shapes in the snow? It means that the battle has begun, said Melisandre. The sand is running through the glass more quickly now, and man's hour on earth is almost done. We must act boldly, or all hope is lost. Westeros must unite beneath their one true king, the prince that was promised, Lord of Dragonstone and chosen of R'hllor. The Lord chooses queerly, then, the king grimaced as if he'd tasted something foul. Why me and not my brothers? Renly and his peach. In my dreams, I see the juice running from his mouth, the blood from his throat. If he had done his duty by his brother, he would have smashed Lord Tywin. We would have smashed Lord Tywin. A victory even Robert could be proud of. Robert, teeth ground side to side. He's in my dreams as well, laughing, drinking, boasting. Those were the things he was best at, those in fighting. I never bested him at anything. The Lord of Light should have made Robert his champion. Why me? Because you are a righteous man, said Melisandre. A righteous man. Stannis touched the covered silver platter with a finger, with leeches. Otherwise, says Katharine Hepburn got an Oscar for that movie. And the Green Bard said this also foreshadows Sansa killing Littlefinger, a giant by sigil.
Yes,
Sure.
it's true.
So that's how most people see it anyway.
Yeah.
I personally think that it could be as simple as just the doll, right? Because the point of symbolism is for you to be able to see it. And if you have to like squint really hard and look at his past sigil and not his current sigil and so forth, I mean, it kind of, if it's that, it also has to be just the doll. You know what I mean? It has to be both.
Well, doesn't she? Okay, doesn't she slap Sweet Robin?
She rips his doll's head off.
Okay, in the show she slaps him though, right?
I don't know. Maybe.
I can't remember. I get confused on the scene.
Yeah, it's been too long.
But the giant in the if it is the snow castle, could the giant be Sweet Robin because he is Littlefinger's child?
Oh, I like that idea. That's interesting. And
the true sigil is Titan of Bravos.
That's interesting. Oh, maybe.
Okay.
People complain that that's one thing that people don't like about her is that she's allowing what appears to be a poisoning to take place, and Littlefinger planning to basically kill him and make Harry the heir take over, right? There are several of Dany's House of the Undying visions that have multiple true meanings as well. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Like I say, George likes to hide as much as he can. in words. He says he's a gardener. I say he's a fisherman because he'll sit there and try to take your natural assumption of the sentence that you read
Sure.
and it steer you the wrong way. And that's just you swallowing that hook
Yeah.
and getting yanked
Adam
off the
Adam
path.
Feldman may have thought it was may have only been mentioning the Marine plot line when he was saying that George is deliberately misleading, but it's more than that. That's for
No,
sure.
I thought he said he's deliberately lying.
Deliberately misleading, I think is how he said
Okay,
it.
there's
But
another one
anyway,
that started out that the books read completely different once he realized that George R. R.
that might
Martin
be
is
that might be
lying to us
Toodles.
for
That
the
might be
entire book.
Toodles. Toodles
Was it
Toodles
Toodles?
talks about that too. I
Yeah, yeah,
think
yeah.
it's his early
Yeah,
stuff
yeah. I
too.
want to say it was somebody you sent my way. So yeah,
Yeah, probably was
it's probably
Toodles.
Toodles. Yeah.
Yet with leeches. Yes, said Melisandre. But I must tell you once more, this is not the way. You swore it would work. The king looked angry. It will, and it will not. Which? Both. Speak sense to me, woman. When the fires speak more plainly, so shall I. There is truth in the flames, but it's not always easy to see. The great ruby to her throat drank fire from the glow of the brazier, however we say that.
Yeah.
Give me the boy, your grace. It's the surer way, the better way. Give me the boy, and I shall wake the stone dragon. I've told you, no. He's only one base-born boy against all the boys of Westeros and all the girls as well, against all the children that might ever be born in all the kingdoms of the world. The boy is innocent. The boy defiled your marriage bed, else you would surely have sons of your own. He shamed you. Robert did that, not the boy. My daughter's grown fond of him, and he is mine own blood. Your brother's blood, Melisandre said. A king's blood. Only a king's blood can wake the stone dragon. Wait, yeah, it's almost like you're saying that he's not of his blood, or that his blood isn't a king. I mean, it's anyway.
Yeah.
It's kind of annoys me that she corrects him there. Stannis ground his teeth. I'll hear no more of this. The dragons are done. The Targaryens tried to bring them back half a dozen times and made fools of themselves, or corpses. Patchface is the only fool we need on this god-forsaken rock. You have the leeches. Do your work. Melisandre bowed her head stiffly and said, as my king commands. Reaching up her left sleeve with her right hand, she flung a handful of powder into the brazier. The coals roared. As pale flames writhed atop them, the red woman retrieved the silver dish and brought it to the king. Davos watched her lift the lid. Beneath were 3 large black leeches fat with blood. The boy's blood, Davos knew, a king's blood. Stannis stretched forth a hand, his fingers closed around one of the leeches. Say the name, Melisandre commanded. The leech was twisting in the king's grip, trying to attach itself to one of his fingers. The usurper, he said. Joffrey Baratheon. When he tossed the leech into the fire, it curled up like an autumn leaf amidst the coals and burned. Stannis grasped the second. The usurper, he declared louder this time. Balon Greyjoy. He flipped it lightly onto the brazier, and its flesh split and cracked. The blood burst from it, hissing and smoking. The last was in the king's hand. This one he studied a moment as it writhed between his fingers. The usurper, he said at last. Robb Stark. And he threw it on the flames.
Hey, do you think the reason that he paused staring at the leech is because he did not want to say Robb Stark?
I think he's definitely more hesitant to do that, yes.
Yeah.
Once you foresee someone's death, you might as well claim credit for it.
Yeah.
Up next, Storm 37, Jaime 5.
Yeah, Jaime chapter. Woo-hoo.
After a bath, I should worry less about Starks and rather more about Sapphires.
So it's the bath scene next time?
Yeah.
Woohoo! I'm gonna get my Jaime doll and find out where I touched them and
By what right?
by what right does the wolf judge the lion? I love that. That is one of the best scenes
it's so
in
much
the TV
better
show, without a doubt.
And it's so much better if Ned is married. It's so much better if Ned is married to Ashara before.
Yeah.
And forsakes her to save the realm, just as Jaime forsakes his vow.
It is in Ned's eyes, that kind of lie would be the same as, in my mind, would be the same as Jaime killing the king.
Exactly. That's why it's so perfect, right?
Yeah.
The Kingsguard oath says you'll take no wife, right? Which is sort of what a marriage vow is, right? I'll take no other wife, and
yeah.
So anyway, Regarding mice, a friend said that peppermint oil repels them. Half a corpse and half a god.
Yes, without a doubt. I touched the God part. I'm just going to say it. But regarding mice, what is that in reference to?
Did somebody talk about having trouble with mice?
Yeah, me. I was making sure she's talking to me.
Yeah, I think that's what she's talking about.
Yeah, these little stupid field mice. I mean, I got brick underpinning all the way around. It's got the vents, but the vents have a really close screen on it. So, but the holes for like the water going to the sink and stuff like that is as far as I can tell where they're coming in at. And as soon as I put a trap out, the next day there's a damn mouse. And his job is to take a mouse across because Rob won't let me kill him. And I told him we need to start numbering them so we can make sure it's not the same damn mouse that keeps coming back in the house. But he takes it across the street, which is probably about 200 feet away, and lets them go at the mailbox. And I keep joking because it's a 4x4 with a big plastic housing over the top of it for a extra large mailbox. I keep joking that the mice are crawling up in that plastic making a condo.
In other words, that she had mice having a Valentine's Day party in the living room. That sounds not like the kind of party that you want.
Yeah, there's one night that this is a while ago. This is before I even started putting the traps out, and before we saw any evidence of a mouse. And I'm laying there with Carter. I'm holding his hand. He goes to sleep, and I hear squeak, 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 like he was trying to squeeze his way through something. So, I can't stand these little things. But peppermint oil. All right, I me write that down too. Don't give me homework. Peppermint oil for mice. I'm gonna be like my mom and have this sit there. Those little pressure things that you spray with. I'll be going all the way around the house spraying because I used to do that for my mom's trailer.
Yeah,
with vinegar and salt water and all that kind of stuff. What's the lady supposed to say?
You guys are such Disney characters. By golly, it's adorable. Okay. I might be on Nettles tomorrow. I might be on Girl Nettles channel tomorrow.
Oh, you know what time?
3:00. Sorry, 4:00 your time.
4:00 my time.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you doing one of the
Yeah,
debates?
I'm supposed to judge apparently.
Which one are you doing?
I signed up for other ones besides this one. I don't remember which one this is.
Okay, because I signed up I signed up to judge 3 and 4. I don't remember who they were, and then 5 was somebody against Arya. I said I'll debate that for Arya, and then the other one was Ned.
Oh, it's Rhaegar and Daemon. It's Rhaegar and Daemon.
Oh wow. Yeah, I signed up for Ned versus Aegon the Conqueror.
I don't have any. I signed up to debate on that one.
Debate which one?
I'm on Ned's side.
No, I'm on Ned's side.
No, you said you were judging. I thought.
No. I'm judging 3 and 4, and then I signed up to debate.
I guess we're together.
Arya and Ned. We're both on Ned's side. Yeah, if we're both on Ned's side, then Ned's going to win because nobody's there for Aegon.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, there's 3 on each side. So I'm a Monty Python character. I had an attack rabbit named Rufus.
Becca.
Yeah, tomorrow's Rhaegar versus Daemon.
Rhaegar versus Daemon. Okay. You know who you're going up against, or who's going to be debating?
I'm just a judge. I don't know.
Is it Nettles versus somebody?
Oh, Nettles is usually it's usually 3 on each side.
There's what?
There's 3 on each side. So you and I are probably 2 out of 3 on the same side.
Is that how she's doing it? 3 on each side?
That's how the last one was.
Well, that was the practice for the the Ice and Fire Con.
No. She just had one last weekend.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Cersei versus Alicent.
Okay.
And
I have to go
Grown
back and
was
watch
on
that. Yeah, let me go back and watch that. So cool.
was on Alicent's side.
If we're both for Ned, I'm happy. I got it in the bag right now. I got Mr. Encyclopedia, and then I'll say something stupid, and then Mr.
I don't know.
Encyclopedia will bring it right on in for the win, and then after we win, I'll say something stupid again.
Anyway, tomorrow is Rhaegar versus Daemon, and last weekend was Alicent and Cersei.
Hey, have you ever watched the Y-Files?
No.
Okay, it's aliens and all that kind of stuff. Bigfoot. He talks about a bunch of different stuff, and then at like almost toward the end, he'll go like, "But is any of it true?" And he'll debunk it and all that stuff. Well, it's got the host, and then in a goldfish bowl with a tinfoil hat at the top of it is a goldfish with the human teeth called hecklefish. And he talks. He just says jokes like I do fart jokes, that kind of thing.
Okay.
If this is Y-Files, you would be the host, and I would be Hecklefish, just talking shit.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry. If anybody out there has watched the Y-Files, you'll get the reference.
Well, anyway, you got an almost 3-hour video to watch now, so I'll give you the homework assignment.
Oh wow. Well, I got to be careful because if it starts 4:00 my time, I should be good.
Yeah, but I meant if you want to, you can watch the previous one.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that this weekend just to bone up on how things are going.
Exactly.
But yeah, 4:00, 3 hours. We put it 7:00 my time. That's an hour before Carter goes to bed. So yeah, that's doable for me.
All right. Well, see you tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah. All right, everybody. It's Friday. We appreciate you. Excuse me. I haven't been drinking. Appreciate y'all joining us. This is it's not an odd chapter, but I kind of like it. It was. I like the interaction between Stannis and Davos.
Yeah, there was quite a bit in there. I mean, and this is the one I keep quoting with the whole "I burned his brother" thing too, right?
Yeah. So I mean, it is a pretty good chapter. All right. As always, on Friday, we tell you to have a fun and safe weekend. We do care about each and every one of you. We want to see you here Monday for the Jamie chapter, so we can all talk about Jamie being naked. And but have a good weekend. We appreciate you, and we will see y'all Monday. Take care.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Bye,
Richard.